So if you've been subscribed to this channel for the last few years, you know that I am a big fan of Fenix lighting when it comes to my EDC and weapon mounted lights. Well, I'm super excited to show you their newest offering, and that's the Fenix GL30R. Let's check it out. Alright, we're over on the other bench, and we're going to go over the packaging real quick because Fenix always has really nice packaging. So this is the front of the box. Like I said, this is the GL30R. It is a high candela tactical light. We look down here at the bottom. It is cranking out 800 lumens. It's got a max distance of 630 meters, and it does have a 3400 milliamp battery included. Here is the side of the box. You got some QR codes you can scan. And here we have the back of the box. So we might as well go over this information real quick. If we use the included battery, we got 800 lumens of output with 135 minutes of runtime, distance of 630 meters, and our intensity is 100,000 candela. This can handle a drop from 1 meter. It is submersible. It has an IP68 waterproof rating. But I think this is pretty cool. So you can run this on two CR123A batteries. So if this battery were to go dead, well, you do have a backup. And I always have CR123A batteries in my range bag and my EDC bag. Now, we're still going to get 800 lumens with the CR123As, but we're only going to have a runtime of 70 minutes. Our distance is still the same. It's 630 meters. And so is our candela at 100,000. So let's get this opened up and see what all comes in the box. Wow, that is nice. I have never seen them do this before with the foam padding and everything. I'm impressed. So we've got our light. I'll go ahead and get this out. Now this already has a mount on it, and we can put this right onto a piece of 1913 rail. And then we have our pressure switch. And this is a brand new design. I have not seen one like this yet. Same thing. We can put this on some 1913 rail. And we have a USB Type-C on the end of this. This will be pretty interesting. And then here, looks like we have a 45-degree offset mount. This is also going to be for the light. So that's really cool. We've got the straight one here, but if we want to run an angled one, they provide that in the box as well. Well, this just keeps getting better. So we have another mount, and this is going to go right on to M-LOK. So if you've got a handguard with M-LOK slots, you've got this mount as well. And then here we have another mount, and this is also for M-LOK. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be for the pressure switch. We'll dive into that here in a little bit. Fenix is really good about this too. So we have an extra O-ring for the light, and we also have an extra rubber cover here for the USB Type-C port. So if this were to get ripped off or damaged, you got a backup. We also have a USB to USB Type-C cable. We've got our warranty card, and we have our instruction manual. It's all black and white, and that is everything in the box. Alright guys, that tree in front of us is about 40 yards out. We're going to go ahead and light it up and see what this beam looks like. Oh wow. Yeah, that's nice. It's got a really nice tight beam. I like it. All right, now we're out on the back edge of my property, and that tree line you see out there is 200 yards out. Oh, wow. Like daylight. That is quite impressive. All right, now I want to go over the specs of the actual light and how to use this light if you're going to use it as a handheld. Not sure why you would want to do that, but you can. So the body of this light is constructed out of 6061 T6 aluminum. The length on this is 5.7 inches, and the diameter on this is 1.42 inches. And the weight on the GL30R is 7.27 ounces. Now to access the battery, you're just going to screw the head off here. There's your O-ring seal, and there's your 3400 milliamp battery. And the controls on this are quite simple. You just got the one button here in the back. If you want to just do momentary, you're just going to lightly press on it. As soon as you let off, it goes off. And if you want to turn it on and leave it on, you're going to do a long press till you hear it click. It stays on. Hit it again, and it shuts off. All right, now we're going to do the drop test. So we're going to turn the light on. We're going to drop it on its side. They say it's safe up to 1 meter. Okay. Still on. Rubber plug cover did come off. Let's drop it on the bezel. Still on. And now let's drop it on the side we haven't dropped it on yet. Hit the bezel again. But it is still on. Make sure it shuts off. Shuts off. Turns back on. Let's check momentary. There it is. All right. We're good. We're beat all to hell. But it held up. And actually, most of this wipes right off. Those dings are pretty bad. All right, I want to talk about this switch because this thing is really cool. It's super unique. I've never really quite seen anything like this. So right now, we're set up to go on to a 1913 or Picatinny rail. And if you notice, there is a hole right here through the top of our pressure pad. So if you do not want to mount this to a 1913 rail, and you want to mount it directly to M-LOK, which is how I'm going to be mounting this light on the test rifle, what you're going to do is loosen these up. I'm going to see if we can take them off without having to take the bolts all the way out. Let me loosen it up just a little bit more. I don't really care if they fall out. But anyway, there we go. We got it off. All right, now that we got that off, we can see that we have our hole here. We also have 2 cutouts here for like recoil lugs. And we go back to that adapter that we've got. That is actually going to sit just like that. You're going to take your screw, drop it in here, and mount this to your M-LOK. Now the next super cool thing that I've never seen on any kind of light that I've reviewed on this channel is this actually has like a safety on it. It kind of reminds you of a crossbolt safety. So if you look here, it says press to unlock. Over here, it says press to lock. So if we push this, you look here, you can see that Fenix orange. That's letting you know that this light is locked out. So during the day, or if you don't want to accidentally turn that light on, you can go ahead and throw that safety on, and you're not going to accidentally turn the light on. Now we're going to move down to this end of the switch, and this is pretty unique too. So you take your rubber cover off right here. You can see your input for your USB Type-C. You're going to push this in. It goes in pretty tight. This is what's going to keep you watertight. And then once you get that pushed in, you're going to take this and turn it clockwise. And that locks that into the back of the light, so you're not going to have to worry about accidentally pulling that loose. Now remember when we talked about the safety? I'll go ahead and hit this on. It will not turn on. If I hit the momentary button, it won't turn on. So now, let's throw the safety off. And there you go. There's your full time. Hit it again, it shuts off. Momentary, and let off. So that is your controls on here. Your momentary's here. You're going to hold it. As soon as you let off, it shuts off. If you long press this, it's going to stay on. Hit it again, it shuts off. You can also lightly press this button, go into momentary, and as soon as you let off, it shuts off. Super cool switch. All right, now we're going to do the water test, and it is 12:05 p.m. on a Sunday. I did make sure that our USB Type-C rubber cover is nice and tight on there. We're going to turn it on, and what I want to do is submerge this for 5 minutes in that bucket and make sure it stays watertight. It's officially 12:06. We'll check it at 12:11 and make sure it's still working. All right, it's been 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's still on. So let's get it out of here. Shake it off. It's still on. Let's shut it off. Turns off. Turns back on. Let's try momentary. Perfect. It survived. Alright, now I want to go over the mounting options for this light. So right now I do have the M-LOK mount on this. And because I'm a wrong-handed shooter, this is going to go on the left side of the gun. Now if you look here on the back, you have 2 screws. You can remove these screws and you can actually flip this around if you want the light lower below the handguard, or you can put it in this configuration if you want it up above the handguard. Then you have the 45-degree offset mount. This is going to mount on a 1913 rail. So if you want to use this, you're going to remove these 2 screws and you can mount it right like that or like that. And then you have the mount that it came with out of the box. Same deal. Remove the 2 screws. You can put it here. You can put it like this. So you've got all kinds of mounting options. But this is how I'm going to mount it. Alright, let's get into my final thoughts on this Fenix GL30R. Now this is normally where I give you my list of pros and cons, but I don't have any cons when it comes to this light. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've reviewed a lot of weapon mounted lights for rifles on this channel, and this is by far my favorite. Now if you noticed in the intro, there was some shooting footage with this light mounted on this Daria Ran Iron Wolf. This is chambered in 357. I was actually doing the review on this gun. I shot a little over 500 rounds through this, about 350 rounds of 38 special and 150 rounds of 357 mag, and as you can see, this light still works. And I love the way this light looks and works on here, so it's just going to stay on this Iron Wolf. So let's get into the pros of what I like about this light. First off is that beam. I really like that tight focused beam on this. The next thing I really like on this is this new switch. It works so well. And I really like the fact that they put that safety on here. I've got a lot of lights mounted on AR-15s and different rifles in my collection. And a lot of times I'll loosen up the cap on the back so the light's not accidentally getting turned on when I throw it in a bag or I'm at the range during the day shooting. So having that crossbolt style safety that I like to call it is just awesome. The next pro was all the mounting options it came with. I mean, we had M-LOK mounts, Picatinny mounts, 45-degree angle mounts. They just kind of came up with everything you needed for this light. And my last pro with this is that cable. Being able to just push a USB-C in there, but then twist it and lock it so you cannot pull it off of there. And then when you get home at night or get home from the range or whatever, you can just turn that counterclockwise, pull it out, grab any USB Type-C power source and charge this light back up. And with that being said, not only is it rechargeable, but you have that removable battery. So you can go on the Fenix website, order a couple spare batteries, and if your light dies while you're at the range, well, you can just swap the battery out and worry about recharging those batteries at a later time when you're back at home. So I really want to thank Fenix for sending this out to the channel. I think I'm one of the first people that's got to review this, and it's absolutely awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.